Now I go way back with you. This is before I started YouTube.
Okay.
That whole Lapeef thing, and it was like, oh, look at Tawana. But see, I even go further back. Whereas I remember when you got on Kevin Samuels.
Oh, that's a throwback.
That's a real throwback.
But let me say this though.
Okay.
I was on Lapeef show for like maybe several months before I went on Kevin Samuel show.
Okay.
So I had been like literally I was in the Facebook group. Was you in the Facebook group?
No. I won't play in Facebook and Twitter.
So Lapeef Network.
YouTube streets.
Oh, okay. Okay, so they had a YouTube, they had an actual Facebook group.
Okay.
And so I was in the Facebook group at first. And in the Facebook group, I was very vocal. And so I was invited on the show. And that's how I became a part of Lapeef. Like we actually just like me, Anton, B Next, like we just actually had like an organic chemistry. Like it just went well. So we were doing that for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened was Kevin Samuels started hearing me talk about him on the Peep Show. And he was like, that girl needs to come on my show since she got so much smoke for me, So then he like called me out. He was like, so I'm like, oh my God, not ever thinking that he's gonna hear our show because we were growing, but we weren't like as big as they are now, right? We were growing. So he was like, yeah, he came in the chat. He was like, yeah, that girl needs to come in my show since she got all this smoke, she got all this stuff to say. And so I was like, oh my God, like I gotta come on the Kevin Samuels show. So then I said something like, I'll be on your show and I'm gonna bring all my smoke, I was talking smack, you know what I'm saying? And then after that, I got scared, like I just said I was gonna come on the Kevin Samuels. What we're gonna do? Like this is crazy.
Right.
So that's how I ended up going on his show. And I remember JR called me. He was like, listen, he called me early that day because he knew I was going on the show. He's like, you need to be prepared. Like, what are you doing? What's going on? He was like, do you know what you're about to get yourself into? I was like, no, I had no idea because I had never watched the show.
Right.
So first of all, I'm volunteering to go on somebody's show. I ain't never watched the show. Don't know what I'm going on for.
Right.
And then I went on the show and then JR was like, you need to prepare. He was like, watch a show so you can see what the format is and everything, right? So then I got even more scared because I was like, I don't really have nothing specific I want to say. I just want to talk about him in general. But they was like, no, you can't do that. Like, you can't do that. You got to talk about a specific topic when you come on the smoke show. So so like I literally came on and it was such a good experience with Kevin Samuels. Like I can have you saw the show, like me and him, we really just had a conversation for about an hour. We talked like he was telling me his intentions, telling me I was asking him questions, and it went well for the most part. I know I had some feedback, but that kind of helped Lapeef. Like that kind of helped us take off because I talked about Lapeef show on there. I was like, look, follow us on Lapeef. So then people started coming over to the channel from Kevin Samuel show, etc. So it was a good experience for me, not knowing a lot about YouTube.
Right.
But it taught me a lot for sure. But my conversation will be very different with Mr. Samuels right now if I was to go on right now. It probably wouldn't go so well. Maybe, I don't know.
Let me ask you this, because your experience from that time to seeing the things that are happening now, I don't think at that time he was at 1 million subscribers.
Right.
Now he's at 1 million subscribers. Right. You're hearing all kinds of feedbacks in the sense of, Kevin sent me this, Kevin sent me that. But I'm not really looking at trying to take a dig at Kevin Samuels because I have nothing really negative in that regards. But your experience from seeing Kevin Samuels then to seeing Kevin Samuels now, how because you're more closer to, I'm going to say, Lapeef and Kevin Samuels than I am. Because I came theoretically more under TLA than I could say I came through Kevin Samuels. So with that experience, what has that taught you, from then to now?
Well, listen, when I was on Kevin Samuel's show, I understood his popularity even at that time.
Okay.
It was very clear that he had a large following. He had like loyal supporters, and he had people who really like had his back and really supported his message. What I think is happening is a further divide between the sexes. I see a further divide, and not even just between the sexes. There's a lot of women who support him too, but just mentalities and mindsets. Like everyone has either they are on the spectrum of, hey, Black men are the center and need to be respected, and Black women are at fault, or they're on the total opposite end of it, where it's like, no, Black women haven't done anything, and Black men need to get it together. And so I just see him as being the reason why that polarized so deeply and why everybody branched off. But I'm not even shocked that he grew in popularity. I mean, I honestly felt like he was polished. A lot of people support him. They still support him. They believe in his message. They believe in his vision. People think that it was some tough criticisms that Black people needed to hear. So I'm not shocked, but I think that it's also problematic in the sense that, you know, it does incite audiences to be, a lot of them aren't as intelligent as Kevin Samuels, in my opinion.
Right.
So it incites a lot of aggression towards women. It puts women in a lot of vulnerable positions, and it makes it where men feel like they can be openly disrespectful. So it does some really bad things as well, that I feel like we need some people that's like more centered, like you, you know, for instance. You know, so we need some more of those types of conversations. I'm not hating on the man. I think, you know,